Hello and welcome to today's webinar as we discuss how to bridge the gap by integrating Office 365 with CRM. My name is Andy Cluck and I'm on the marketing team here at Ledgeview Partners. We are a Salesforce Silver consulting partner and a Microsoft Dynamics CRM Gold partner. Ledgeview Partners helps businesses transform their approach to sales, marketing, and customer service by aligning these teams to focus on improving their customers' experience and providing management with metrics through technology to evaluate success. Today's webinar actually started out as a live event concept. Last week, Ledgeview Partners was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the CCB Tech Showcase, and that's Wisconsin's largest IT event. We were a platinum sponsor there, and this was one of the main sessions that we presented. Since we know travel is tough and budgets are even tighter these days, we definitely wanted to bring this information directly from Miller Park, home of the Milwaukee Brewers, and the CCB Tech Showcase to you via this webinar. When you combine Microsoft Office 365 with Salesforce or Dynamics CRM, it provides your employees with the tools they need to achieve their goals across sales, service, marketing, and social. This allows you to connect with your customers and provide amazing customer experiences. Today you will see 365 and CRM solutions work together to solve business challenges. Learn best practices to ensure that your integration is smooth and also receive tips that will put your return on investment on the fast track. Before I introduce today's presenter, I just have a couple quick housekeeping items to cover. First, I do want to mention that today's webinar is being recorded and this will be available on demand after the live session. All attendees will receive an email immediately following this webinar, and that's going to have a link to access the presentation. So we encourage you to share this with your team and network as well. To ensure the best audio quality today, we have everyone in listen-only mode, but if you do have a question, please be sure to submit those in the question pane of the GoToWebinar control panel. We have a full agenda today, but if we do have time at the end of the presentation, we'll field as many of those questions as possible. If we don't get to your question, we'll be sure to follow up after the webinar in an email. All right, now time to introduce our presenter. I'm sure I've talked long enough for him. Tom Lemeran. Tom is a pre-sales technical consultant with Ledgeview Partners and has presented on Microsoft and Salesforce products at the CRM conference, CRM UG regional meetings, and as I said, most recently at the CCB Tech Showcase last week in Milwaukee. Tom, thanks for joining us today. It's all yours.
Thank you, Andy. And let's jump right into what we're going to be looking at today. Again, so like Andy mentioned, we'll be looking at bridging the gap between Office 365 and CRM. So the two platforms we'll be looking at today will be both Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Again, my name is Tom Lemeran, and I'm a technical pre-sales engineer consultant here at Ledgeview Partners. So what we're going to be looking at today is that we will be, looking at how Office 365 integrates with both of those platforms, both Dynamics CRM and Salesforce. We will demo some of the main components in both environments of Outlook, SharePoint, and OneNote. I should have put a little star next to the OneNote piece. OneNote is still coming for Salesforce, so unfortunately I don't have the beta version right now to demo that. I will show it to you in Dynamics CRM, and we can just assume the experience will be pretty similar in Salesforce, but unfortunately that's the one area I can't demo directly in Salesforce today. Then we'll also look at the other integrations for other tools that are in Office 365 like Skype, Group, and Delve. And then, like Andy mentioned, we do have a pretty tight schedule today, but if we have some questions, if we have some time at the end, we will dive into some questions that you may have. Otherwise, if we can't get to it during this session, we will, by all means, reply to any of the questions that you submitted. All right, so what is the Office 365 integration? So I want to look at three main components that I feel are critical that you would like to integrate, with your CRM environment. The three are Outlook, SharePoint, and OneNote. Let's dive into what each one of them does. And again, Outlook I think is pretty self-explanatory. Most companies are utilizing Outlook in one way or the other. But if you do utilize Outlook, and I know if you're on a Salesforce side, you might have, you may be more on the Gmail or, other platforms. But if you do have the Outlook component and Exchange, it is a really nice integration with both products. And so they have apps now for Outlook, and that is what we are going to be looking at. So both products have the ability to go directly into the client Outlook environment, and it's client only. But now they both have released, and it's actually through Microsoft that they released apps for both products, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to be looking at the apps for Outlook. And what this gives you the ability to do is track emails from any platform, meaning that right now, if you currently have, the Outlook integration with your CRM environment, you have to be on your client, on your desktop and or on your laptop or on your Surface. You have to be on one of those client machines. With this app, now what you can do is you can track through Outlook like you normally can. You can also track through Outlook web access. So anytime you access your email through a browser, you can track. And then also mobile. So from your mobile devices, now you are able to track emails back to your CRM environment. So this is a really powerful tool that they have introduced, and it gives you just more flexibility to be, on the go and still utilizing that tracking or, pushing the data back into your CRM environment. The other piece that gives you is it gives you some visibility to display CRM data within the CRM application. And again, we will be demonstrating these 3 integrations so you'll be able to see what I mean by that. The next area that we're going to be covering is SharePoint. So the main part of SharePoint is storing documents and version control. One of the big pieces that we see a SharePoint integration is just around those documents and how you want to store them, especially if within being in the cloud. So both on Dynamics CRM and in Salesforce, those files can really start using up space, and then it can be expensive to keep extending more of those, more space in both of those environments. So what SharePoint does is that it provides you with a platform to actually allow you to store all of your documents within SharePoint and then have them interface directly with CRM. So this is a really nice integration between both of the CRM platforms. And what it allows you to do is it gives you that cheaper storage. And what I mean by that is that within SharePoint, it is 20 cents a gig to add. I know within Dynamics CRM, it is $10 a gig per month to add. And then in Salesforce, they have different calculations, based on what kind of licenses you have. But again, it's more than 20 cents per gig per month. So it is a lot cheaper solution. And also with that, SharePoint is made for document management. It has version control. It has a lot of properties in it that just make it really nice and convenient for document management, and it also gives you that cheaper solution when you're in the cloud. And then the last piece that we want to just take a brief look at is OneNote. So again, for those of you that may not know what OneNote is that it just gives you a platform or an environment to be able to log notes anywhere. And what this allows you to do, what I like to say is that it actually provides you a canvas to put notes in. So within that canvas, you can put text, you can put pictures, you can put checklists, you can put pretty much anything you want in that OneNote environment, and now you have a nice area to kind of go look at notes. It's also, I don't want to call it a collaboration tool, but it gives you the ability to share your notes with others. And with the integration with the CRM platforms, of course, if they're in CRM, they can see those different areas. But also outside of CRM, you can share your notes, with others through the OneNote platform. This OneNote is actually available both through the client and the mobile features of both platforms. And so again, it's very nice is that if you're on the go a lot and you're taking notes at client meetings or discussions or things like that, or you're at you're at trade shows or things like that, it gives you a really nice area to take notes. So we'll take a brief look at that. And again, like I mentioned before, unfortunately I can only show one of the environments today, but knowing that it's coming to the Salesforce environment shortly. All right, let's dive into each one of these areas and talk about what the advantages are in both platforms. So let's take a look at the Outlook integration. So for the CRM app for Outlook, we mentioned this already. It's available on mobile, web, and client. So that is a big improvement compared to what you're used to having with the plugin, is that the plugin is only client related, and also the plugin, what I'm going to say, it's a very heavy tool, meaning that sometimes we see performance issues or sometimes it makes your Outlook take a long time to load. This app is a lot more lightweight, and it also gives you, different platforms as in mobile and web to access it through. And then what you can do in here is track emails and then see additional CRM information from within the Outlook application. I explained the Outlook plugin already, but what this does is that it's client only. It allows you to track emails, contacts, appointments, and tasks. So I think if you have the experience with with tracking of emails within Dynamics CRM and Outlook, you have the plugin currently. So this app right now, it only tracks emails, but again, I think when you see it, you're going to see that it's a lot nicer features and lightweight, and that this is kind of the next or the future of where this integration between Outlook and CRM will be. And then the next thing that's a little bit newer, it's been with a couple of versions, but each version they keep adding more and more functionality, is called server-side sync. So if you are familiar with the email router, this replaces the email router as you get to the newer versions of Dynamics CRM. And then this allows you to do server sync behind the scenes between contacts, appointments, and tasks. Again, it's trying to take that heavyweight capability that the plugin provides, on a client piece and put it more towards the back end, towards the server, so that you don't have that, all that lag or that heavyweight client that you need to install to track and maintain your contacts, appointments, and tasks. On the Salesforce side, they have the same. They have Salesforce app for Outlook. Very similar is that you can do it with a mobile, web, and client. It does the tracking of emails, and you can also bring up CRM information directly in within Outlook. If you have that integration currently with Salesforce, it's called the Salesforce Outlook Side Panel and Sync, and that one again is client only, and that one does track the emails, contacts, events. So one thing that Salesforce is coming up with, it's still in the beta release right now, is called Exchange Sync. And again, this is a new option, and this kind of gives you that same capability to kind of sync contacts and events on the back end. So it's not on the front end where you have that heavy client. And so now they're doing the lightweight app and then putting more of the synchronization behind the scenes through the server sync, which is called Exchange Sync from Salesforce. So those are the comparisons between the two with the Outlook integration. Now let's jump into the SharePoint integration. So again, like we mentioned before, is that SharePoint is all about managing documents. So if you look at Dynamics CRM, it gives you the capability to manage the documents within CRM. So you can open SharePoint directly from CRM, so you can actually see the documents within a list within CRM. Otherwise, you can go into and click a button to actually open them up directly in SharePoint if you want to work with them within SharePoint. There's a nice feature that Dynamics CRM provides, is that it actually allows you to create the folder structure within SharePoint based on the entities that are created in CRM. Meaning that you can have, lots of times we recommend is called account or contact centric, meaning that if you have an account, you can create that folder structure where if you create a new account, that folder will get, or that account name will get created as a folder within SharePoint. And then anything that happens underneath that account, meaning from a contact or maybe opportunity or maybe orders or maybe quotes or whatever else you want to store documents in, it all puts those subfolders underneath that account. So what this means is that if I have an account, and my example is Ledgy Partners, you'll see the folder structure is that I'll have Ledgy Partners, and then underneath it I'll see contacts, and then I'll see opportunities, and I can see the breakdown of all my contacts and all my opportunities in one central area, so I can very easily, from like a tree hierarchy, find my documents directly in SharePoint. Otherwise, they're all interfaced directly in CRM, and I can see them in one nice list. The other thing that Microsoft allows is kind of the ability to utilize coding and workflows to really kind of manipulate how you want the folders and the management and the structures of the files to be set. So it gives you kind of a programming interface to use workflows on both environments, in both CRM and in SharePoint. to really kind of manage and manipulate the file structures and the files themselves if you want to make sure that you have that user experience that you want. Within Salesforce, you use what you call Files Connect to show the files within Salesforce. Now this is showing external files, and this can show you against multiple different platforms, but one of the ones that they have specifically built is around SharePoint. This is a nice thing because it gives you a single access point for all the files, so you can access the files and find them both on the client and Salesforce One, which is again their mobile device. You can link files to objects, you can share files with others, and the nice thing is that right from Salesforce you can download and view the files from within from within Salesforce that grab them directly from SharePoint. This last feature is one that I really like, is that within Salesforce, with having that kind of that central area, you can have one search area, and now it actually can utilize that central search area and find files that are within your external links or within your Files Connect there. And so I can actually find files from SharePoint within my Salesforce search. So that's a really cool and unique feature. All right, the last piece I want to talk through here is OneNote. So what this allows you to do is that it's accessible within entities, and this is available through both the client and the mobile device. And like I mentioned before, what OneNote is that it just gives you the ability to like a canvas to put notes into it. And so this is just a nicer way to provide notes, and then you can share the notes and do a lot of things with the notes that you can't do with like just text, or even with trying to use Word or however you did your notes before. Again, on the Salesforce side, what they mentioned that's going to be coming up is that it's going to be accessible within the objects. It's going to be available on both the client and the mobile, so the Salesforce One. And then again, the one thing that Salesforce really iterates, and again, we saw it on the SharePoint side, is that the ability to search through that single search engine and then find any of your OneNotes that are specific to what you're searching. So again, that's just another unique and nice feature that Salesforce provides with that single platform of searching. All right, I did a lot of talking right now. So what I want to do is dive right into our live demo right now, because I think this will just show you some of the capabilities, or a lot of the capabilities that are there, and just kind of see what the future of this integration between the two platforms is going to be. So with that, I'm going to jump into Outlook first. So I'm just going to drag Outlook over here. And from here, notice I'm actually logged in to Outlook Web Access. And so what I did was I just logged into my portal, my Office 365 portal. I clicked on Mail, and now I have my Outlook. Mailbox right here. So my inbox. So I have this, I have this email that came from myself. I sent it to this demo account, and now notice I have this Dynamics CRM bar right here. So if I click on this, what it's doing is that it's connecting to Dynamics CRM, and it's looking for my email address. And again, this is in a test environment right now, so I just wanted to point that out, that these are my test environments currently. So what this does is that it finds my email address, and it brings up this contact, and it brings up my title, it brings up what company I'm associated with it, and brings up my phone numbers. Now so what Microsoft did is that now they actually want to see what other items are related to that contact. And so it's bringing up some activities, maybe if I have some upcoming activities or the last activity that I did with them, what are some cases, what are some recent opportunities. And if I click on any of these, so if I click on this case, issue with a widget, got my pop-up blocker there. And so what happened here now is that now it brings up the actual CRM case with the issue with the widget here. So as you can tell is that I can, within my Outlook, see quickly what I'm looking at within CRM, and then I can bring up the actual CRM entities from within. The other piece that I can do here is I can track this, and so I can just hit track, and now from here I can just say, okay, what do I want to track it to? Either do I want to track it to create new accounts, leads, contacts, or can I just search? And so I'm just going to put in LedgeView and just kind of see what comes up in this area to see what I want to track it to. So here's an account I can track it to, or here's a contact I can track it to. So it gives you that global searching to be able to track it to the different items. All right. The other area that I can do is I can just bring this up directly into CRM. So now this will just open up that contact directly from here, and now I can look at it within my CRM environment. So as you can see, it's a lot more lighter weight than the plugin. It gives you that nice capability to at least see some related information, pull up that related information, and then be able to track it against, either track it directly against the contact, or track it against a specific entity that you search and find within CRM. So it gives you the similar capabilities or functionality that the plugin does when you're tracking an email. Now let's take a look at what Salesforce does within here. So in the same ribbon up here, I have the Salesforce button. So I'm going to bring up Salesforce, and then just like with Dynamics CRM, it connects to the Salesforce environment that you have configured. And now from here, notice it brings up the people in the account that this is associated with it within this email address. So here's this contact, and then here is the account information. By clicking on either one of these, if I click on the LedgeView Partners account, it actually brings the information directly to my form, so I don't ever have to leave my Outlook environment to see data specific to the account or contact what I want to be tracking against. So if I look at through here, it brings up, this is the layout that I have of my form. Now this is an out of the box layout, but just notice it brings it right into my environment, so I don't have to open up another window, and it's all just kind of in that one central location. I can from here bring it out, and so I can open it up directly in Salesforce if I want. That's what this allows me to do. From here, I can also link it directly to the different items. So if I want this to be, relate this to this person, I can just click on this button, and now it's related to here. If I didn't find one of the items that were related here, I apologize, in my test environment for some reason it's not functioning properly. I have a screen print that I can show you back on my slide, but there's a plus sign here that allows me to relate it to other objects within Salesforce. So that is a feature that is going to be that's available. Like I mentioned, just unfortunately in my test environment it's not working that way at this time, but it is a feature that will be available. So that is what, again, that is that new CRM app, the Dynamics CRM app and the Salesforce app for Outlook. So now let's jump in and look at what it looks like when we do the integration with SharePoint. So this time I'm going to start, I'm going to start with Dynamics CRM, and I'll tell you why in a second. So I'm in this account, I'm in LedgeView Partners. So I just got here from doing my search to find LedgeView Partners, and I'm right in my account. Through my account view, I can go up here and go into Documents. And if I go up to Documents right here, what this is doing now is that it's connecting to my SharePoint environment, and now look at it's bringing up all the different documents that are associated with LedgeView Partners and all the children records also, meaning that if I had documents that were stored directly against a contact or directly against an opportunity, they're all going to be surfaced, they're all going to be viewed right here through this view or through this grid. And now notice when I click on any of these items, so if I click on summer items, it actually allows me to do kind of that version control and do the stuff that I can normally do within SharePoint, do it right through the Outlook, or sorry, right through the CRM interface. So I can check out, check in, I can edit the properties. So if I have metadata associated with these documents, I can edit that right through here. Or maybe I had something checked out and I want to discard it. Or I can upload more documents through here. So it gives you the capabilities to do the same pieces that you do, or the same processes that you do within SharePoint, directly in the CRM environment. And then also what I can do is I can open up this location, and now what it's doing is that it's going into it's going into SharePoint, and it's actually showing me the account for LedgeView Partners, and now here's all my contacts, and then I actually have cases associated with this, and then so here's the folder structure. So if I click on contact, now here's my Tom Lemmeron contact that's associated to LedgeView Partners, and now here are the documents that are specific to that contact. So this folder structure was all built through the CRM integration with SharePoint. So that's how the layout is set up, and it was built through that, again, through that integration. And I can turn this on or off if I want to build it, or if I want to use an existing structure, I have that capability. But that's just, I wanted it to build the structure based on being an account-centric methodology. So with that, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring up Salesforce here, and let me bring Salesforce over. And I'm starting in the files area within Salesforce. And the reason why I brought up Dynamics CRM first is that when I look at what this external files is for SharePoint, it's looking at the exact same SharePoint environment. And so if I click on here, this is actually going to connect into SharePoint and show me the files and the file structure. So this is where I see, here's all my accounts. So if I click on account, now it's going to be giving me a listing of my accounts. So I click on LedgeView Partners. And so now it just gives me that hierarchy that the Dynamics piece built, but I just want to show you that this was the hierarchy, and that's why it's set like this. Now in Salesforce, again, you don't have that building capability, so you can really control how you want your SharePoint to be laid out, and then you can just, access it directly here through Salesforce. But a nice thing through here is that I have the summer hours, and from here, I can open, I can download, I can share it if I want to out, and then also if I just click right on it, it does open up this record. But what I think is one of the really cool features here is that here's my global search here. So here's my searching. I'm just going to type in summer. And when I look at summer, nope, don't need this right now. Notice it just brings up any documents that are directly in, or any files that are directly in Salesforce, but here is my item within SharePoint. So it actually does use, with me using my global search right here in Salesforce, I am able to search my SharePoint environments, which I think is a really neat feature. And then secondly, I'm going to go into here and just go into LedgeView. And I'm going to go into the LedgeView Partners account within Salesforce. Oops, I'm going to have my feed here. If I go to Files, I'm going to say select a file from Salesforce. And now it gives me the same option. I can go right from here, go to my SharePoint. I want to go to the account. I want to look at LedgeView Partners. And I'm going to attach the summer hours. So now it allows me to attach my files or my documents directly to objects within SharePoint. So that was a quick demonstration of how the SharePoint integration can work between the two different platforms. The last piece that I want to jump into right now is the OneNote integration. Now again, I can only show you this unfortunately within Dynamics CRM, but it is coming very shortly within the Salesforce platform, and they've been talking about it. And again, I know that it's going to be able to link it to objects, and then also you'll be able to use that global search, and it's going to be available in Salesforce One as well. But I'm going to go back to my CRM environment here, and I'm going to close out SharePoint, and I'm going to go back into my account. So I'm within my LedgeView Partners account here, and notice how there's a OneNote tab here in this social pane. When I click on OneNote, what it does is that it links to the OneNote that's actually stored within my SharePoint environment. So it's an actual OneNote application that's stored in there. And then what it's going to do is that it's going to bring back the different notebooks that are associated directly with this account. So what I had, and I already have this open for the demo purposes, so I have this OneNote. So if I go here, these were my 2 notebooks that I had associated with my LedgeView Partners account. So it was sales and delivery. And just notice how I was able to take a screenshot of one of my presentations, kind of do a checkbox over here on what I want to accomplish. And then I just put some, different notes that were specific to my presentation. And again, it just gives me this canvas to put different notes in here, and I can add additional notebooks or sections to it. And then I can also add additional pages just to determine, what I'm looking at. And then from here, I can, insert different items. I can if I'm on my mobile device, I can take pictures and download pictures into here. So it's a really nice tool that you can use to integrate with both of your platforms. Again, it's available right now with Dynamics CRM, and it's coming very shortly within the Salesforce environment. So those were the 3 areas that I wanted to demonstrate to you today. And with that, let's go back to our presentation. I do have one slide that is specific, and notice here, this is that Salesforce integration with Outlook, and I just want to show you that there is that plus sign that is available if you don't see, if you don't see the appropriate information displayed below. You can search for another one. I apologize that wasn't working in my environment, but that feature is there. All right, so just quickly, let's look at these other integrations that happen with Office 365. So we have Skype, we have groups, or what they call people, we have Delve, we have Exchange Online, we have Power BI, and we have Yammer. So what I can say is that from a Salesforce standpoint, Skype, groups, Delve, and Office and Excel Online are coming in future releases, and I believe if I heard it correctly, we can look at some of these in the summer release of Salesforce. So these integrations they're getting, they have that good relationship with Microsoft and Office 365 that they came to, almost a year ago, and now they're starting to, have the benefits of having those integrations within there. All these items right here that you see around here are currently available in Dynamics CRM, and that you can integrate with Skype, with groups, with Delve. Excel is tightly integrated with Microsoft, Online, and then Power BI and Yammer. So those are the features, those are the integrations that are available and are coming within the CRM platforms. But again, I hope you can see from this presentation that they're really, there's good partnerships between both of the, enterprise CRM applications in Salesforce and Dynamics CRM with Office 365. So I would just like to say that, we do a lot of additional, information about these integrations and many other things with both Salesforce and Dynamics CRM. And so you can visit our website or visit our blogs, or we do a lot of stuff through social media. Otherwise, you can just send us an email directly, and we will be able to respond to you if you have any questions or concerns about either Salesforce and or Dynamics CRM. With the Office 365 integration or any other topics you want to talk through around, CRM in general. All right, I know that we scheduled this for 30 minutes, so I think I'm about 3 minutes over, so I don't know if we have much time for questions, but I'll pass this back over to Andy.
All right, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I did notice there are a few questions, and we are out of time, so we'll be sure to follow up with you offline on those. Some great insight into the integration between Office 365 and Dynamics CRM and Salesforce. So I just want to remind everyone before we close out today that you will receive an email with a link to the recording of today's presentation. So you can keep an eye out for that. And thanks again for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.